I just think I am somebody who, like, I get really turned on by having to do less things. Like I told, like, if you've been listening to the show, you know, like, I love making less decisions. So when we go out to eat, I love when Ben just orders for me. Like, those are the times where I'm like, this person is taking, like, tasks off of my list. I'm taking my shirt off.
Fly, fly, oh, to be a fly. Fly, fly, come and be a fly on the wall.
Hello there. Our house is a mess.
Hello.
Get your ass up in here.
Come on in.
Come on in. Welcome to Fly on the Wilde podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about our parenting woes, our marriage struggles, and recording it all for the world to see. I'm your neighborhood friendly black girl, Amber.
And I'm Ben.
How you doing today, baby?
Ben with the backward hat. Hey.
Don't do too much. It is very cute. You picked this. I bought your shirt, but you picked everything like yourself, like at a store.
Yeah, I walked into a store and I picked it up, but I also FaceTimed you and said, what do you think?
Yeah. What do you think has been sparking this new love for fashion and buying clean clothes?
I mean, feeling sexier. Like, I want to get my swerve on with you. And I realized that I really like wearing a suit with just my dick out, or like wearing a nice piece of article of clothing and just like fully clothed, but like with my member hanging, or like, you know what I mean? So like having sex with you with like different clothes is a huge turn on for me.
Yeah, you've been really into the clothes on doing the do.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's fun.
It's a kink of mine, maybe. Yeah, we're discovering kink. We're reading about kinks. And
yes, we are. Shout out to Rena Martin, who was on the show what would have been a couple weeks ago now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I definitely think we're in our... Ben and I are just in this era of our life where we're like, listen, we've got the kid. We have a full service business. It's time for us to be having the best sex of our life.
It's time for us to also be fully serviced. You know? I'm
not.
You said you have a full service business.
Oh, yes.
And then it's also time for us to be fully serviced. I have never been more attracted to you in the past, I don't know, year than I have. I mean, partly because my job is now so untraditional. I have more time for sex. Like, I can have sex in the morning, which is when I'm the most horny, and I don't have to get ready and go.
The listeners really need to know that.
No, yeah. Like,
just for their own personal business.
I think it is important to know what time of day you are the most horny. Like,
I'm saying they need to know it for you.
I don't know. Maybe somebody out there wants
some of you. Well, if you are listening, you want some of Ben, you can have his ass. Just come on down.
To the Baskin Robbins and get yourself a swirl. I don't know.
So bad. Yeah. So just before
you go, what's the horniest time of day for you? You think?
Things that turn me on are like, you know, after grand gestures have been made, a clean home turns me on. I think everybody who ever listened to this show is like, Amber likes an organized home.
Organized home.
Yeah, I really get turned on when I don't have anything to worry about. Like when I can just like fully relax.
That's why you're rarely turned on, because you have so much.
No, I get turned on when we're like, yo, we did the things we need to do. I can close this laptop and get it on.
So usually at the end of a work day, like
end of a work day,
so like 5
for sure.
p.m.
Maybe after a little sip of a cocktail too. Like I feel like my most sexy when I've been put in a situation where I can just relax.
Okay.
Because there's something about the morning that's like, I can't relax because like we just got up, like we got to get stuff done. The baby's going to be up soon.
Sure.
Like, and I think you're kind of like, no, let me squeeze it in before I get it all done. We're just really different. Like I remember the other day that when we were at dinner or something, and we just got to a point where like you and I have really been trying to like argue less. Oh, yeah. Like let's figure like what is, obviously every couple's trying to argue less, but I've just really been like, these are the things that we've been arguing about the last few times we've been arguing. Mm-hmm. So what are the trends? So one trend I've been identifying with you is that you're like, I cannot multitask. Like, give me a single task, let me finish it, and then let me move on to the next task. Mm-hmm. So
I get very anxious as well, because you'll give me like, I'll be in the middle of doing something, and then you'll say, "Oh, also do this," and I'll say, "Wait, no, let me finish switching the laundry out." And I found myself, I shared with you at the dinner table that there was one point where I was doing the laundry, and then I looked over and I saw some things on the couch that needed to be organized, and I stopped putting things in the washer to walk over to the couch to start organizing the things on the couch.
Right.
And I said, wait, what am I doing? This is
I
insanity.
think everybody can relate to that.
That's
because you'll
crazy.
just see so many things. But like with you, I'm really trying to do a better job of he can't do more than this task.
Yeah. Amber hates walking up and down our stairs. We have 2 flights of stairs.
Everybody hates walking up and down stairs.
You specifically, so where I don't mind it. So I'm okay with running and downstairs, grabbing something first, and then going upstairs.
And I'm like, no, you're already on your way up, so just grab that
this,
real quick.
And
yeah.
then I forgot the original thing I went to grab. Literally, I did that where you said, grab this thing from downstairs, but also grab her milk. Wilde milk, our daughter milk.
Yeah.
So I went to grab her milk and I forgot to grab the original thing.
Yeah.
I can't hold too many things in my mind. I could do multiple, card games in my mind, and I can think about video games and story outlines in my mind, but that's the stuff I'm thinking about. But any physical action or any physical cleaning, I'm really bad at doing multiple things at once, which is why running is so great for me. Like when you play basketball, you got to dribble and you got to shoot and you got to run and you got to multitasking. So I'm way better at things that require singular focus.
Well, I just think I am somebody who, like, I get really turned on by having to do less things. Like, I told, like, if you've been listening to the show, like, I love making less decisions. So when we go out to eat, I love when Ben just orders for me. Like, those are the times where I'm like, this person is taking, like, tasks off of my list. I'm taking my shirt off.
Speaking of which, I went and got you tea. I didn't ask you what kind of tea you wanted.
You did give me tea.
I already
it's
know.
It's just the little things, you know?
It's decaf tea. And I put 2 packets of honey because I know you like honey. But I didn't ask, like, do you want mint, chamomile? I just chose the one.
That shit pisses me off.
Yeah.
Just fix it. Mm-hmm. Me and my friend Denise have this joke. We're like, just fix it. I don't care. I had to just fix something a minute ago. Like, I had to have a difficult conversation with a friend today, y'all. And I don't care if she listened. I don't care. But it's little stuff like that where I'm like, it's not that what this friend did was that bad. It's just like all of these little incidences keep coming up. And in my brain, I'm like, if I don't fix this right now, like, I'm going to have a headache later. Like, I'm just like, you were like, I want to walk out of the room for the conversation because I know you're about to call her. I know you're about to hurt her feelings.
I am conflict averse. I hate conflict so much. It's not healthy.
It's so funny because you love to debate and stuff.
I like debating, but I hate creating.
That can get conflict.
I hate cutting people off, and I just let things fizzle out. And I'm trying to be better at being very clear. Like, yo, this is what I want from this relationship, or this is what I want from this friendship, or this is what I want from this or that.
Right.
And if you're not meeting those expectations, bye, bitch. And Amber has lived her life like that. I think it's a very healthy way to live your life. Sometimes you can be a little cruel.
Do you think I was cruel today?
I didn't hear the conversation. I walked the fuck away. I didn't want to hear it. I don't think, oh yeah, when we were talking about it, I said, like, you needed to have a phone conversation. I'm going to get on your case every single time because I'm very comfortable with having conflict with you because I know that you will receive it, and I know there's nothing I can say that will, like, destroy our relationship.
Right.
Where a stranger, if that relationship has not been developed yet, I'm fearful of missing out of what this relationship could be if I offend this person.
Yeah.
So I tread a little bit lightly. And I think sometimes that throws you off. You're like, why are you so kind to other people and sort of more direct with me? And I'm like, well, because I can provide you better direction. And we have trust built. It's been an interesting dynamic where you are more comfortable. Well, you don't give a fuck about anybody.
I do give a fuck, but I'm just like, I'm only going to let you shit on me so many times. Like, I'm only going to let you say a slick comment so many times. I'm only going to let you ruin a dinner so many times. Like, I got to sweat that small stuff. Like, I sweat the small stuff. That's how I am.
Yeah, you jump on people for making little mistakes. You do, yeah. And there's both positive and negative.
If you're being a mean girl, I have no problem jumping on that ass. Mm-hmm. Like, that's how I feel. Like,
well, there are certain mean things for sure. But the other thing I'm thinking about is you'll jump on my ass for not putting the keys back, Which, by the way, I've been trying to get on your ass about that as well.
You didn't put the keys back last night, but...
Did I not?
No, you didn't, but I'll put them back.
Damn.
You want to jump into our first segment?
Maybe we should start this show.
We will. And then we got some spicy updates that we'll get into
we got
as the show.
Spice.
I mean, it's not breaking news. It's just some fun stuff we've been doing. But it's very... Stick around. It's very spicy. The first segment of our show is called #Influenced.
It's time for the hashtag influence.
So, what's been going down in the internet streets right now is I am no longer just taking it when people steal my content and post it on their page, and then I say like, yo, can you tag me? And they give me attitude.
Oh yeah, hold on.
Like, I'm not doing that no more.
You gotta explain to people, what does it to have stolen content? Okay?
Right.
What does that mean?
It's the internet. So we're all constantly resharing each other's videos and things like that. It's good practice to tag the creator who did something. If someone created a visual storytelling, a video, a meme, just tag them.
Okay.
Repost it. Just tag them. Just give them some credit, especially if you have a shit ton of followers. Like, it would be nice if you just said like, oh, this person's beautiful family is at Burr I Am. Now, of course, it's the internet. So sometimes what people do is they post it, they don't tag, and that's fine. But if you post my thing and you don't tag me, I have every right to DM you, especially if it's my baby. Especially if you're using those videos to, in this person's case, to sell baby clothes. So you doing some bullshit.
Yeah, so
in my opinion.
Let me explain this situation.
I am explaining
for listeners. So basically,
somebody took a video of mine, reposted it, didn't tag me, and this page is selling baby clothes.
So it seemed that you were endorsing the selling of these baby clothes. It could be.
It could be perceived that way.
How do you respond
Name, image, and likeness. Yeah.
Name, image, and likeness. How do you respond to a question such as, well, this is the internet. Once you post something on the internet, it's for everybody's use.
Like public domain.
You put it out there. I have my own answer to that, but I want to hear yours. Yeah.
But if you are running a business, like I am running a business, I am a full-time creator, storyteller, comedian. This is how I make money as an entrepreneur. So if you took an apple off my fruit stand.
Your fruit stand is the IG page you're talking about.
You took an apple off my fruit stand. You went down to your fruit stand and said, like, look at these great apples I have. Aren't they crispy? Aren't they crunchy? Aren't they delicious? You know, I don't even care. Because, sometimes a baker will sell baked goods to a restaurant, and they're just like, just let people know that these...
But they already paid for it. They bought
it, they paid for it, they asked...
bought it wholesale, then
they did something. So you're stealing from my apple stand, telling people, look at these crispy, delicious apples, and then when I'm just asking, like, I'll let you steal it, just tell people it's me, and you're telling me, like, well, no, like, I'm not going to do that either. I got to report you to the internet guys. So what's your answer to this?
Well, people need to read the IG, Instagram terms and agreement,
which say what?
Which say very clearly that
the Instagram terms of use do not allow posting content that violates someone else's intellectual property rights.
Correct.
Unless you have explicit permission, like from Beyonce's company. That's what you wrote.
Yes. So Instagram makes it very clear that if you were to post somebody, and even with a tag, if you don't have their permission, like that's still copyright infringement.
Right.
From what I understand, it very much could be. So major companies like Parkwood Entertainment, when they wanted to use your video on Beyonce's TikTok, they asked for explicit permission.
Yes, they did.
Right, and
anybody would have saw their content on Beyonce's page and been floored.
Yeah, right. Like,
but it's the principle of the thing.
Well, also they have lawyers on retainer that tell them to do this kinds of things. So it's a legality thing. So when people say, "Oh, it's the internet," you should expect. No, you shouldn't expect, because that's breaking law. In the same way that I wouldn't go to Barnes and Nobles, buy a book, copy every single word in that book, and then try to sell that book to a different publishing house.
Right.
That is copyright infringement.
Yeah.
And so that's the first thing. I think people do not read the terms of agreement. The next thing is that's the best practice, is you should get explicit permission. But the very minimum is you should tag the creator. The very minimum.
Very minimum.
Very minimum.
I ain't asking for no money.
Yeah.
And Instagram doesn't pay. So, like, TikTok and some other platforms and Facebook pays. Instagram used to pay, but they don't pay anymore.
Not directly.
But
like
your
brands
followers
pay
you to post on Instagram.
And
but
brands only pay you if you have a certain amount of followers.
Correct.
And you gain followers by using viral content. And so someone took a very viral video of yours, reposted it on their page. They got lots more followers of that. And then Queen Latifah reposted your original post.
Queen Latifah. We love Queen Latifah.
But it was posted with the this company was like at the little cute and y'all can go harass them. It's at
no.
THE.
No, it's over. They've already they have my back.
LECUTE.
They have my back. The internet had my back when this was happening. Yeah, it's fine.
No, go harass them.
It's a page full of people's stolen baby videos that they're using to air quote sell baby clothes.
Some of the videos are tagged. So I went through.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but again, if you don't get explicit permission, that is still a violation of the terms of rights and usages, IG's usages. But the thing is,
that part,
there's so much content that there's no point in going and like being mad at every single person who's reposting your stuff.
Yeah, no.
So the thing is, we only get a little salty if a person with a major brand or they're using your content to sell something. That's sort of what made us very upset.
And then they literally went back and forth with me about attitude, but even like we've talked in the past about like I have spam pages on TikTok as well. Like I just have been feeling way more empowered to just report it, like, and follow, and not just report the video or flag it. Like you have to fill out full reports with links and proof and all of that kind of stuff. And so I recently did that for a page on TikTok and for a piece of content on Instagram. And like the courts of the digital court ruled in my favor. So I was like, oh, like I need to start doing this more often. Mm-hmm. Like, because it is our livelihood. It is my life.
What would be the point where you would like get a lawyer to like find that company or try to sue that specific brand?
I mean, if it was just consistent, if it was like every single video of mine, and then like that's a breaking point for me.
Probably
like when you're just like fully impersonating somebody else and taking people's money to do that.
I think the scamming. I think probably I would, because you might not get any money from that, but I would probably sue, for example, you were talking about the Five Below. We were talking about the Five Below situation.
Oh, yes. You want to explain that real quick?
Yeah, we already talked about it on the show, right?
No, I don't think so.
Did we not talk about it?
No, we talked about it, you and I.
Oh, okay.
Just long story short, it's like
this guy sent, so Five Below is a major company, big company.
Right.
And they DM'd a creator, said, hey, we wanted to use one of your videos.
Like, can we repost it?
Can we repost it? And they reposted it, but they reposted it as an ad.
Yep.
As a freaking ad. And based on the amount of views, that video, they should have probably paid that creator anywhere between $20,000 to $30,000.
Correct.
Like easily.
And
this guy is a teacher, right?
Yeah, well, he recently left the classroom, but recently.
Yeah, so he's a teacher. So he's not like a millionaire, he's a little fashion girly, like does like really cool content. I don't know, is that appropriate to call him fashion?
A fashion girly? I think so.
Yeah,
Michael Duvall. I love Michael Duvall.
He's so great, super cute, and just a wonderful, like, chill dude. And I think they're pronouns. He okay.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be a girl. He says that in his videos.
Okay, good.
I'm a fan of Michael's.
Yeah. So I think that's seriously fucked up, and I think he should probably get a lawyer. But the problem is that he gave them verbal consent. But I think
to repost, not to run it as an ad.
Right, and so that's the case where I think getting a lawyer could get him some sort of settlement, like very minimum, like some $5,000, $10,000. I
mean, this just calls into question, like, I think personally for me, why I had to sort of stop following pages like the Neighborhood Talk and the Shade Room. It's like,
it's not
like, you're not really reporting news. Like, in some respects, you're just finding other people's videos and reposting them.
Yeah.
Like, I never want to get to a point. That's why I don't do duets and stitches and stuff like that, because if your content wouldn't exist without other people making content, like, that's tough for me.
There's a whole bunch of TikToks and Instagrams showing how you can make like $15,000 to $30,000 a month. They present this idea where you make a travel account and you just repost all the travel famous like viral travel videos and
that other people
them,
of other people's travels
and then
of other people's
But what you do is you put affiliate links, multiple affiliate links in your bio, and you can end up earning if you have multiple. If you did this full time, and you were just very business Excel spreadsheet organized. With the affiliate links, you can make a significant amount of money by just reposting other.
Just reposting,
but there's no creativity.
Somebody's listening to this and being like, "Oh, I'm gonna do that." But people can they will literally make a page called like Black Couples and Families, and you just go to somebody else's page
and find
you see a black couple, you
or
find it, you post
interracial
couples, white couples, whatever you want it to be. You can be this nameless, faceless profile, steal other people's content, and just go viral.
It is stealing. Even if you tag the person, but if you don't have their explicit consent. But the thing is that not everyone is a full-time content creator. So what happens and why these little, Instagram accounts can exist is because they find this singular viral moments of these families who just happened to post something online for their family and it blew up. But these other families are not full-time creatives. They work in teaching or education, or they run a small business, or they work in construction, and they just happen to have a very viral video. So when they steal that video and this bigger account makes it even more popular, the original creators of this video feel almost honored by that. But what they don't understand is that theft enables this company to continue to exist without creating original content.
People are always like, "Oh my God, girl, I saw you on this page." I was like, "I don't care about that shit no more." Like, did you? Why did
I get paid for it?
They didn't email me. They didn't pay.
Some money.
We're done with the exposure.
Repost?
It's like almost like. So, for example, the Beehive might come after me for this, but I'm just gonna say this. Okay, so Usher performed at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Not only was there obviously like a whole bunch of talk about like Taylor Swift and all that kind of stuff happening, but then Beyonce did an ad with Verizon and she dropped 2 songs the night of the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Now I want to remind you that the Super Bowl is a place where the artist for the halftime show is not paid to do the halftime show. What is exciting is that if you do a Super Bowl halftime show, you're paid air quote via exposure, which if you're doing the Super Bowl, you don't necessarily need exposure, but like the weeks after the show, people are downloading your music. Like that is the biggest perk. So you can
I did not know. So Usher didn't get paid.
Usher did not get paid.
Never been paid.
Nope.
MJ never got paid.
Correct. But what happens is so many people are streaming your shit after that show. Because it's like, oh my God, I just was reminded of all the hits. Your streams go up, okay? I want you to just like bear that in mind. Or like when Rihanna did the Super Bowl, like she had one moment in her Super Bowl show where she like opened this little like, Fenty compact to put on makeup. And Fenty sales were through the roof the next week because people just like,
They're like, oh, it's advertising. You can advertise your own
You see something,
content.
you're reminded. This is why Super Bowl commercials cost millions of dollars.
Get to the point with Beyonce.
Usher did it. So Usher did his show and then Beyonce drops 2 songs.
Okay.
So what happens, right? Who is everybody streaming the next day?
Beyonce.
Everybody's streaming Beyonce. Sure, it's just the 2 songs. There's enough room at the table for all of us. But I remember, I did it too. Like I watched the Usher I watched the Usher halftime show, and then I saw Beyonce drop 2 new songs, and I went immediately streamed those new songs.
You're like, forget Usher, Beyonce drops.
And I'm not streaming caught up. And Usher dropped a new song too. That's what kind of sucks.
Do you think Usher is annoyed at Beyonce for doing that?
I think he would be foolish not to be. He's not going to share that, of course. I think he's a very smart businessman and he's been doing this for many years. But like, I know if I was him, I would be disappointed. I'm like, yo, I'm getting paid via exposure. The one big perk of this is that like people are going to stream my shit after I put my whole life into this show. And now they're streaming your songs.
Beyonce distracted. Yeah, it sounds like a good opportunistic thing that Beyonce did where she is in a Verizon ad. So now Beyonce's top of mind and you drop 2 songs. So you sort of use your Verizon exposure to now get that attention. I mean, it all comes down to the desire to be more rich, right?
Yeah. I just don't think that was like cool. Like, of course, I listen to the songs. I'm a part of the problem. But I remember thinking like I would be so pissed if I was Usher because people are already like, oh, I just saw Taylor. Maybe I should stream her music.
Yeah.
Oh, Beyonce just dropped 2 songs. Maybe I should stream her music. And now we're like, oh wait, who performed again?
You think it was unethical?
Unethical? No.
Yeah.
I don't think it was unethical. I just like. and I'm sure Usher's so rich, he's like, whatever, like I don't need the streams.
So yeah, it's like no one cares about these.
Yeah. I just know I would feel away if I was Usher, and I'm like, you dropping that tonight, like because I feel like I feel like artists all the time talk about like okay, like I feel like recently at the Grammys, Billie Eilish was like. They were like, hey, are you dropping new music soon? She's like, okay, well, Ariana Grande is dropping a project first, and I'm going to drop mine after her. Because we're friends or whatever. Like, why would I drop something the same day as this other person? Why would I have my show the same night as this other person? So, like, on principle, let's both whatever. I don't think...
Upstaging. You don't like to be upstaged, personally. Me? Yes. And, and sometimes I do it, and I do it well. And either whether I do it poorly or well... You do get offended if I upstage you.
No, I just like if I'm being paid via exposure and then someone upstages on top of that, like this the little cute. If my payment for you stealing my shit is you tagging me and then that even falls through the cracks, I gotta fuck you up. Like and I mean my air quote fuck up was just getting that like one video removed.
But also like posting their direct messages.
People trolled them. Yeah,
DMing.
DMs.
Yeah.
It's a mess. The internet is a mess.
And you support the mess at times.
I do. I'm right in the thick of it. But there are just ways to do the things. Sorry, I'll move on to the next segment. The next segment of our show is called Imperfect Parent.
Imperfect parent.
Okay. So this week, the hot topic of discussion is Wilde is addicted to TV.
Yeah.
We've been watching a lot of TV. It's not even just YouTube. It's just we watch Frozen and Frozen 2 once a day. And we'll put on the musical soundtrack, but if you want her to sit still, like if I'm doing her hair, it's just so easy to put on Frozen, and I just feel like I've created a little monster with it because I know.
She'll be like, snowman, and then we'll tell her no, and she'll just start crying. I never wanted to raise my kid with TV. I think it is
the devil box.
The devil box, as I've said before on this podcast. I'm very disappointed that I've decided to do this, but I had some blood work. I had to go to the doctors, and I was so exhausted afterwards, and you were out of town. And I just had her watch Frozen 1, Frozen 2, and I was so sick. And then she rewatched.
I just had her watch Frozen 1, that's it. You're like, no, Frozen 1 and
Frozen 2 in direct succession, and then she rewatched Frozen 1. I'm like, I am... fucking Matilda's dad.
Sandwich. Yeah, I've become the Wormwoods.
Like, God, it's sick. But
the other day, I even like turned the TV off. I was like, "Wow, we're gonna go upstairs and read like 5 books in a row."
And we go to the library every week. We read.
Colored, but at the end of the day, she gonna look at you and say, "Olaf,
snowman,
snowman,
Frozen, Elsa, Anna." She says
and
all
it's
the
only
names.
that we've even tried to integrate. Like I'm like, let's give Moana a chance.
Yeah, Moana. No.
Yeah.
Tried to watch. We started watching Pom Poko, which is a Studio Ghibli film.
Yeah.
With they're not like raccoons, but they're like the Japanese version of raccoons. Someone is gonna correct me in the comments, but they have expanding ball sacks. There's like in
ball sacks.
Yeah, ball sacks. So and they show it. It's a G movie, and they show the expanding ball sacks. And and they can manipulate and mold things and transform. It's sort of Japanese like folklore. And it was a cartoon. And Wilde really liked the little raccoons, but within 20-30 minutes, because the animation is a little bit like it's like 16 frames instead of like the 32. So think of like how fast. That's why anime sort of has that almost like jaded stop motion look, because there's less drawn pages each second.
Okay.
And so she just got tired of it, and she's like Frozen. So we had to stop.
Anything now, like I'll be halfway through watching, Aaron Brockovich.
Yeah.
Like I'm having.
Have you been watching Aaron Brockovich? This is like you've brought this up twice.
I've just been running it back. It's just like it's just a nice. I love Julia Roberts.
I've never seen it, so
but we got to watch it tonight.
We should have her on the show sometime.
We should have Julia Roberts on the show.
That would be great.
We're gonna get her on the show, y'all. We're doing the show. So
with Julia Roberts.
Okay, so you have here
Yeah,
why is she watching more TV? Studies show you can get shit done.
Okay. Yeah.
And why do we feel guilty about her watching the TV?
Yeah, so why is she watching more TV? Why has she been watching more TV, you think?
Because we put it on because we got shit to do.
Yeah, I think our lives have gotten busier. And as our lives have gotten busier, we need something. Because we do have a nanny who comes like 20 hours a week. And like, but we're just so busy. Like I'm taking a short story writing class. I'm also helping you with content. We have live shows coming up. We're trying to make all these different videos and
trying to get the pod popping, come in, do the thing. Yeah, like
podcast, researching for the podcast. So our life has gotten busier. Why?
Like most parents, yeah.
Yeah, like most parents. So, and she's required more like stimulation.
Yes.
And TV is a way to calm her down. So like before when she was a baby, we could do stuff and have her crawl around. But now she's running around and jumping on things. Like literally, oh my God, she's been jumping off of the couch.
Yep.
Like full blown jumping. Whee! She goes, whee! And then boom. And so we put pillows down and I'm like, I need to watch her do this. I can't be trying to like write or do. All right, so we've gotten busier. There is a really funny video, and I'm going to do the thing that the little cute did, and I'm going to quote the video, but I don't know who did it, but I'll try to find it. But this video shows that it's like this mom, like, you know, has her kids watching TV, and it says, you know, studies show that when your kids watch TV, you can get shit done.
And then
it shows her immediate cleaning. It's one of the funny videos to mock all the mommy pages.
Exactly.
Like, watching TV, you know, destroys your kid's brain. And it does, actually. It does.
Which is why you put on Frozen 1, Frozen 2, and then back
Frozen 1 again. And then we've watched all the little like extras as well.
Oh, of course. The like little shorts.
Olaf's big day or birthday or you know.
Frozen fever.
Also,
like we're addicted right now.
Also, one of them is like Elsa's birthday. And
Anna's
she's
birthday.
drunk. Oh, it's Anna's birthday.
And she's sick.
No, she's drunk.
She's not.
She's drunk as fuck.
No, she's not.
Watch this video. If y'all
I've watched it multiple times.
Like she's drunk.
She has a cold, Ben, but the cold never bothered her anyway.
Apparently, no. That's why. How do you get a cold when you're freaking Elsa? Like, you don't get a cold. That woman is drunk. But they couldn't say drunk. It was coded. It's a perfect example of coded language. She's drunk as a skunk.
Okay, so what we need to start doing, so Ben wrote something in the notes here. How do you watch TV with your kid?
Yes, so how do you watch TV?
So we have to watch it with her.
Yes, so you should
talk and repeat the rhymes. Because what she'll do now, she'll start saying the word before the person.
Yes, and we'll sing the songs with her.
Oh, we've definitely been doing the songs.
So I think I've justified our laziness as parents by like singing the songs with her.
Right. Like if I sing For the First Time in Forever with Anna, with her.
Exactly. So that's...
It's more active watching of TV.
Active watching. And then the other thing is, if you watch a YouTube, they show an activity with Miss Rachel, like a stuffy song, like repeat the rhymes, but also then go do that activity. So if they're showing it, you know, I don't know, making a puppet out of like a cereal box, go make that puppet out of a cereal box. So do the activities that are shown, right? So if she's watching Bluey, go to like the little Bluey, you know, store or
dance
something.
Mode,
do something.
Yeah.
Do something that
so that's how we justified our bullshit.
Our laziness. This is pure laziness.
We're doing our best. We're imperfect parents.
We're definitely not doing our best.
Yes, we take her to gym. We take her to music class.
Gymnastics, music.
We've taken her
swim,
we'll just take her to the meadow some days. We've gone to museums. Like we're doing everything that we can physically and financially do. So we
can always do more. You can always do more. As a parent, you can always do more.
Well, let's just wrap the show then.
And parents who think that they're doing the most that they can do, those parents...
You don't think we're doing a lot, though?
I think we're doing a lot, but we can do more. I'm just saying, never be satisfied. Always want to be better as parents. Parents are like, yeah, I'm doing a great job. If I ever meet a parent who's like, yeah, I'm doing a great job, you've done zero reflecting. You need to
well, we just did the reflection, but we do need to give ourselves some credit.
You know,
we take her to many activities.
Credit for sure, but not the idea that we're doing our best. I don't think I'm doing my best with you.
Well, I can't argue with you there.
And I don't think you're doing your best with me.
No, I think you're doing a great job.
I think there are elements that I'm doing very well, and there's always room for growth.
What are you not doing great with me?
I think sometimes I can be more emotionally available for you, or I need to make my needs known a little bit more clearly.
But I don't think you're not trying to do that.
Sure, but I can always do it better. I just have a huge problem, right, with anybody who is satisfied in their growth. I'm
not satisfied. I'm just saying I think we need to acknowledge that we are doing a lot with the doll.
We're working, but there's always room for improvement. And I think
I'll settle with there's always room for improvement.
We need to, I think, in the morning, we should probably create a rule where she cannot watch TV before like 10 a.m. or like 11 a.m. Like we need to stop watching TV with her in like the early morning, because I've been coming down 7 a.m. She's got Frozen on 8 a.m.
Well, here's the thing.
Because you're doing her hair or something. Yeah.
Okay. So here's what really happens. You wake up, you make breakfast, you want to clean the dishes after breakfast.
Yep.
That is when I have been finding myself being like, okay, let me clean some dishes while she watches. So
I need to get my ass down there and start reading to her, because I go to bed pretty late because I have a late night class, and also lately the nighttime is the only time I can get the readings I have to get done, or the financial business stuff that I can get done. So I've been going to bed like 11, sometimes 12, and I need to sleep in.
And I see that when I wake up. I wake up and I'll see the salsa chips out and a beer can or two, and I'm like,
I haven't drank beer in months.
Someone's been partying. It might be a non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah, I've been drinking non-alcoholic beer. Yeah.
We drank last night.
It wasn't beer though. It was it was a Manhattan. It was 3 Manhattan.
You had 3 Manhattans and a light beer. Yes, you did have a light beer.
But in this Manhattan had like this nutmeg on it. Oh my God, it was fresh nutmeg. Holy shit. This drink was to orgasm for, which we're going to get to orgasms in a moment.
Oh, yes, because I have a listener letter about that.
Okay.
All right, you want to jump to our next segment?
Yeah.
The next segment of our show is called the I do's and don'ts of relationships.
I do. I do. I do. I do.
So we got 2 voicemails. Ben, I love this because like typically you haven't heard the voicemails. So I got a really fun voicemail. Let's pop it off.
Hi, Amber and Ben. Just want to say I just recently started watching you guys' podcast. I've always been on your TikTok, but I love your podcast. It's so good, and I am so proud of you guys. On to, I guess, my question. I am 26 years old. Me and my partner has been together since I was 20. We recently got married in 2022, and we had a baby in 2021 and a baby last year in 2023. And since then, I just feel like our the romance hasn't really been there. We don't really have intimate moments as much as we used to. It's really just kids, work, and sleep. That's literally all that we do. So I guess my question is, how can I put that oomph back into our relationship? I don't want us to feel like we're just parents and roommates. I want us to have that spark back into our relationship. So yeah, any advice would help. Thank you.
All right. What you got for the people, Amber?
I'm going to say this. I feel so much for this listener, and I also recently had a conversation with another mom about, she was like, I just feel like my body now is just a vessel for this baby. She's about 6 months postpartum. She was like, my body's only role right now is to be a food source. That's it. That's all. And that broke my heart. And I want to paint a different picture for you, given the tips that we've been reading about and what we read about rather in The Sex You Want. Shout out to Rita Martin again. I honestly feel like Ben and I right now in our lives are having some of the best sex of our life, because we are being super, super intentional about intimacy. intimacy now. Like it sounds shitty, but like it's being planned right now,
and in fun ways. In a Google Calendar.
Like not only just like sex nights. Like Ben and I have been together almost 10 years, so we've done just about everything. So we're entering that season of our life where I'm like, let's try some shit we ain't never tried before.
Yeah.
Right, baby.
Right.
So, spoiler alert, trigger warning. Ben and I recently went to our first sex party, play party,
however you want to say it.
You want to paint the scene of what this looks like?
Yeah. So a sex party is when a bunch of consenting adults come together and they sort of talk and they eat some food and they get drinks. And then after a certain amount of time, like an hour and a half of conversing, there's a moment where there's a talk of consent and like make sure you ask before you touch somebody, and then for the next like 4 hours people start taking their clothes off and you can have sex with other people if they allow it, or you can have sex with your partner and have other people watch you. That would be like, exhibitionist, so it's someone who likes to be watched having sex, or you can be a voyeur where you just stand around and watch people have sex. You can have threesomes, orgies, you can do basically whatever is.
And these are very common.
Yeah.
Not only just because it's LA, but like these happen all over the country all the time, different clubs, different whatever. So you and I
were like
hooked up together.
Yeah.
And other people were hooking up around us.
Yeah. I was
and shit was hot.
Yeah. I mean, it was different. It was a different experience.
Made out with a couple ladies.
Yes.
Like,
the interesting thing about some of these parties, is that bisexuality is almost expected for women, where bisexuality for men is sort of frowned upon or shamed. So there are different kinds of sex parties. There's artistic sex parties, which is one that we'll try.
Yeah, we don't know enough about
friendly.
We don't know enough about the lifestyle yet to be like, let's give y'all all the do's and don'ts.
There's women only sex parties.
Right.
Skirt Club is one that Amber might go to. I don't think you want. There's like this idea of like play together, play separately.
Yeah, I would definitely go at some point. I'm having way too much fun just like experiencing this with you.
Yeah.
Like because some couples were there that did nothing with nobody. I think they're just like, yo, we're just sick of our regular boring ass fucking lives. Like we just want to go somewhere where people are being like spontaneous and free and liberated, and then we can go home. Like I saw this one couple that literally did nothing. They didn't even take their clothes off. They were just like hanging out. And some people just walked around naked and talked. Like
yeah. It's literally, you can do whatever you feel comfortable with. So in this person, I don't think y'all are
ready to go to a sex party.
Like jump to a sex party.
That's not the advice. But you and your husband do need to do something new and intimate together.
You need to plan
something that makes y'all feel young again. Just be like, yo, you and I are gonna go fuck in that Subaru tonight.
Plan it.
Just plan it.
Plan it. You should.
I'm gonna put a wig on, and you're gonna meet me at this bar on Thursday. I'm getting a sitter for the kids, and when I get to this bar, I'm gonna pretend I'm a stranger. My name is gonna be Katrina, and you will talk to me as such. I'm gonna make up a career and like make it feel new, because that's when it just feels so tired when you're just
you could be a hot Katrina.
I'm gonna be a hot Katrina. Who are you gonna be?
I could be Gerald.
Gerald. Not Gerald with a D. Gerald with a T.
Gerald.
Gerald.
Geralt. Or Geralt.
Geralt of Rivia. No, see, even that's too predictable, because I know you like The Witcher.
Yeah, and I'll wear like a white wig and get like cat eyes, and I'll bring a sword, and then you'll be my Yennefer.
And even if it doesn't end in pleasure, which this wouldn't for me, it could just be fun. It could just be fun. But we have to do new fun stuff together, because we've had so many dinners together. And we've had so many movies together.
I would say there are times where Amber and I did feel like roommates.
Of course.
And it was very hard. And like,
I mean, y'all know Ben. I mean, from hygiene.
You can be very on like. You could be very passive aggressive, and
they know me at this point. Like, hopefully they know me.
Go into the room and close the door. Okay, but I think there are baby steps here. I think you need to. Again, I'm going to say this again. Intimacy is okay to be planned, right?
Yeah.
Like early on, you plan dates, right? You planned things to do together, and even if it's just like, I don't know, like him eating a burrito off your ass, right? Like that could be a thing. It's like, that's a baby step.
That's a baby step. A burrito off my ass. I mean, sure.
It like if you
go buy some handcuffs,
yeah, we bought some handcuffs. Yeah,
and for people out there who are like, I don't know about toys. I don't know if I want to use toys. Just try it.
Yeah.
I say just try it. Like,
Have
if it doesn't work out,
you.
yeah, or even a fun, sexy deck of cards. But like, if there's some like sexy sex candle wax, like I just want to try it. I just want to feel alive
the deck of cards
again
things
with
is
my
great.
husband. Like,
a deck of cards thing is absolutely amazing, and so
yeah. I'm not saying y'all have to go have threesomes or be poly or whatever.
No, you don't have to.
I'm just saying, like, try something sexual that y'all have not tried before.
So, let me talk about deck of cards because people might not know what those are. So you can buy
a deck of cards.
You can buy like a set of cards where they say like try this intimate thing, like rub the person's feet with like oil, or give a full body massage, or go and hide a Valentine's Day card when it's not Valentine's Day around the house. So these cards will give you like little sexy advice or things you can do. So like intimacy cards. So look up intimacy cards. They can give you some really great ideas. The other thing Amber and I have started to do is that I feel very uncomfortable getting like sexting from Amber because on that same app, like my messages, I'm also getting messages from our nanny.
We talked about that.
From my mom.
Prude about nudes.
I am a prude about nudes, yes. But we downloaded a separate app and we've been sending each other like sexually suggestive pictures. I mean, not even suggested, explicit sexual pictures.
Yes, y'all. Ben has come around to the pics.
Yeah.
This is breaking news.
I downloaded a separate app because now I only look at this app when I'm like, because if I open up my phone and I'm at my gym with my kid, I don't want to see Amber's titties at that moment. But if I'm going to check, but if I know this other app I open up, I might see some titties, I might see some coochie, I might see some ass. And so
and here's
that's
the fun
what
thing.
I like.
This is the fun thing I've been learning as we are like starting to explore, the air quote lifestyle. I've been learning that you can be like kinky and playful and intimate without having like intercourse.
Yes,
and I'm sure
absolutely.
I've said that on the pod before, but like that was a major unlock for me. That like I've met people that are like, yeah, I'm kinky. I don't really like having sex, but I like kinky stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so if you're thinking to yourself like, yo, like I don't really feel comfortable. Maybe I had a traumatic birth, or maybe I don't feel like me and my husband are in a place where we're ready to have sex again. Like, that's fine. There are definitely just ways to be intimate with your person.
Yeah.
Like, even like, yo, Ben, I would love a deep ass hug for like 20 seconds.
Yep.
Like,
or even
I would love
getting
a massage. That's it.
Massage, deep hug. Another thing that you might want to try that's very like light is like buy a feather, lie naked, and just have the person rub a feather up and down, like very light touch.
I definitely want to do that.
Yeah.
We need a feather.
That's like we saw at the sex party, is like there was like an orgy of women, and then one guy had like a feather, like rubbing.
He looked like a freaking maestro of a.
Yeah, he was like rubbing.
Some parts of the sex
like
party.
Conducting. He was conducting with
like a maestro.
Like a maestro, yeah.
Some parts of the. I just love when you think you made the joke. Like, you know what I'm saying? You were like, he'll be like, I'm like a maestro.
Yeah, well, conductor.
No,
I think
like
conductors.
I conduct. Yeah.
Yeah, they say conducting. Like maestro, not really. Like an orchestra conductor.
An orchestra conductor, like a maestro.
They don't really call them maestros.
Yes, they do. A movie literally just came out called Maestro about a conductor.
Sure. Yeah.
I just like that you thought it was uniquely your own thought.
No, it wasn't. But I think, no, you're sorry. I'm not stealing your joke.
Right.
I was just adding.
It wasn't that great of a joke. You just added to it.
I know, it gives the right visual of like.
It does give the right visual. I think, what was I going to say?
You're about like, there are some things. Oh, I'll keep going about the sex party. There are some things that.
Some parts of the sex party almost felt just like a class.
Yeah.
Like there were some people doing some, they were doing some shibari rope tying stuff.
Yeah, and
they weren't even having sex. They were just like, hey, this is like, if anybody's ever interested in this is how you do it. Just to try it.
Yeah.
Like just watch somebody do it and then say to yourself like, Yeah, I'm good. I'm not interested. But I think there's this myth that like, okay, well, once you're married and once you find your person, like the sex is gonna be like incredible and mind blowing and whatever. And honestly, that shit can get real stale real fast if you're not constantly communicating and saying like, let's buy some new toys, let's introduce some new things, let's call another girl in here, and if we both hate it,
or call another guy,
call another guy
whatever,
in here, whatever. And if we both aren't into it, like we'll talk later. Again, me and Ben are like hippy dippies, so this might be a stretch for some people, but
for probably. It's
I think
interesting.
More people are interested in this shit than not.
A lot of people are practicing unethical non-monogamy. A lot of people cheat.
Unethical. Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like most divorces, you know what? Most people are getting divorces now. The majority
because
of
they're
Americans.
like sneaking around.
So,
and you're like,
okay, so why don't you have these conversations so you don't do that, right? So that you are being ethical, that there is like clarity on the table. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, I could never do that because this person's mine. I'm like, well, you know, I'm also not a jealous person. Amber's also not a jealous person. No. So it's sort of like,
because I know you ain't going nowhere. Like you're literally, like,
I mean, if I go somewhere, I'm coming back. So yeah,
right. Like you're mine. Like duh.
Also, there's a lot of like non-sexual things you do at the party where I think at one point a bunch of people just got naked in a hot tub.
Yeah, everybody was just talking. That's what, even at that point, there was a time where we were all naked in this hot tub, and I was just like, I'm out of here, like, because there was a bunch of white people just talking about. And to be fair, the party was pretty diverse. I'm not gonna just shit on the party like that, but like. At one point, they were talking about like
the different kind of Italians, like the difference between Long Island
Sicilian grandmother,
which
and I was like,
different than a Long Island Italian.
I was like, girl, I'm not about to sit here and listen to you talk about your grandma from the Bronx with your titties out. Like this is just, I
mean, it's just a weird. Sex parties are bizarre. They're not part of normal society.
No. It's like literally, it's like climbing into the upside down or some sort of like different world where there's different rules, like just for like a night.
Yeah.
And we had fun. Like, when's the last time I've been up since 2 a.m.? When's the last time? I ain't seen 2 a.m. in years.
Yeah. Yeah, you saw 2 a.m.
I saw 2 a.m. with a smile on my face with my favorite person in the world.
Yeah.
Your dick, though.
Yeah.
Your dick.
Sorry. That got really graphic. Sorry.
Graphic. We had to wake the people up anyway. All right, we got a second voicemail. Here you go. Oh, this is your reminder also. If you want more advice about going to sex parties or just trying some new fun stuff, because I just feel like we're so connected now. Like,
it made our sex better.
Like it did. I was like, we just saw some crazy shit together. Like,
I was like, wow,
let's go experiment.
I learned some things.
I learned some things too. I'm like, and now it's kind of like, I mean, I guess it's kind of not our secret because like we're sharing it.
Yeah, it's not our secret.
But it's still like pretty like
we're not there's no photographing or anything.
Yeah. It's like I have this thing that I can just like, this podcast should feel like a conversation amongst friends. So I would tell my friend like, yo, I went to this sex party this weekend. I saw some crazy shit, but I felt so alive. Yeah.
Anyway.
But if you want more insight or advice about even where to start with those things, please call the hotline at 1-833-FOTW311, or feel free to like just DM me and say like, yo, I just heard your episode about the sex party. Like, could you tell me like where you started even finding that?
Yeah,
I think I would happily share. Like if it means people are gonna, because when people have better sex, they're kinder to each other. Yep. Like you can tell when someone's been mean to you and you're like, you ain't been laid in a while.
Yeah,
I can just tell about how this is. Like Ben and I talk all the time about like sometimes when we're under a little bit of financial stress, how things that didn't even stress you out before fully stress you out. Like when you're under you're like, and you ain't even hung that picture up.
Yeah,
over there.
You didn't even pick up your shoes.
Like Amber, who's burning candles in here? And you're like,
yeah.
And it's like, I just need some dick.
Hypocrisy, yeah.
I just need a little bit.
We might get I'm imagining people might really hate this episode. Like,
yeah,
I feel like people are gonna be like, oh, we thought you were a happy couple.
We're the happiest we've ever been.
Which is so funny. There's so many misconceptions about like your willingness to experiment with other people, which I didn't do anything with anybody at that party. Not like, but. The idea of even like being present around other people be like, oh, you're cheating. Like I thought you guys were a happy couple. I thought you guys were like, a family brand. So I can already see the comments but I'm saying you can still do that and still explore your sexuality.
Like you can be like, that's what sucks about being a parent sometimes, because like the minute you have a baby, people are like,
they desexualize
you a mom though. Yeah, you're supposed to be this like desexual,
we see it with like
emotionless
Keke Palmer.
thing. Yeah, like it's just like like I'm like, just because I carried a baby and I care for another human being that I deeply, deeply care for doesn't mean that I don't get to experience pleasure ever again. Like that's so unfair.
Dudes don't get that same thing.
Of course
like,
not.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, you're a dad now? You having sex? You're a dad.
Yeah.
Like, why you outside looking like that? You somebody's daddy. Like, nobody says that.
Yeah.
If anything, they're like, okay, daddy. Like, you gotta,
it's like, no one said, okay, mommy.
Yeah.
There's not like, mommy, like,
I think people should just like do what works for you and your marriage and fun. And you can try some shit out and then you can eventually say like, you know what, that wasn't for us.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that's what having a life with somebody else is. It's just like, this is the person that I decided to experiment with new recipes, experiment with new travel opportunities, experiment with new, like, sex toys, whatever it is. This is the person that I'm choosing to like share new experiences with for the rest of my life.
Facts.
Like, that's a relationship to me.
Hell yeah.
Like, I did not get married to somebody to have vanilla sex the rest of my life. That's just me.
Not me. I mean, me too. Yeah, not me. I don't want to have just vanilla sex.
Next caller.
Hey guys, I'm an African American guy from North Carolina. I identify as bisexual, but I primarily talked to and dated guys for a lot of reasons. It's just been easier, I guess. But I am interested in pursuing and having relationships with women. Guys haven't really been very, like, I haven't really had a good experience, but it's more so because I want to explore that side of my sexuality, and I am attracted to women. But I've had difficulty in dating because I don't want to be dishonest, and I don't want to lie and say that I'm straight when that's not necessarily the case. And I do prefer to date black women. I guess. What's the best way to go about it as a black woman yourself, Amber? Like, what's the best way to kind of go about it? Because I think I remember being bisexual, but I'm not 100% sure. But like, as a black man being bisexual, I've just had a lot of difficulties. Like, it's an immediate cutoff. It's an immediate like no, or disinterest. So like, what would your advice be? And yeah. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to the voice memo. I love y'all's show. Y'all are hilarious. And yeah, any advice would help, because a brother trying to find a sister out here,
Yay! Can we get his ad?
We should get his ad.
Can I just give this person some like virtual love for being brave and just calling about that? Because that is not easy. Like, I feel like black men constantly feel pressure to be like hyper masculine and like you're one or the other. Like, if you like men and women, you're gay. Like,
I think that's general biphobia. It's biphobia just
but
general,
no, for black men specifically, and then it's tenfold.
It's you compound that with
Yeah, you're agreeing with me, right?
I am agreeing.
I was
with
like,
you.
you don't have it harder than this gentleman, right?
No. I'm just saying it's compounded, but it's everywhere, right. And then it's compounded.
Yes. Biphobia with men specifically, because everybody loves a bisexual girl these days.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's literally expected. At some of these play parties. Yeah.
Whereas like this person, like I can only imagine. Also, like, when you're talking about like the compounded intersectionalities and things like that, it's like you're bisexual, you're a black man, and you live in North Carolina. So it's just like the perfect cocktail of like intense religion and intense like Black man having the pressure to be like the protector, the provider, the super straight man. Like,
well, yeah, and you can do all that and still you can be the protector, you can be the provider, you can do all that.
Of course, I know that. Yes.
But there's this assumption, all these assumptions. So the advice is actually, I think, in the book that we read, there is an app called Field where you can explicitly state your sexuality.
Yeah, and to people who are interested in people that, are outside of like traditional relationships.
So I think like there are specific apps for that. And I think based on your situation, that might be the route you might be interested in going. Where you say, some of the profiles I would see in this case is that you would see people on this app being like Black, bi man, mostly experienced with men. I am interested in being with a Black woman.
Yes.
I am, and you can state, people will state like vaccinated, tested regularly. Like it's a very, like that app is very much focused on like a very niche group of people.
Yeah. And it's all about finding your people. Like I know so deeply that this person that called in probably feels like he's the outcast or like this is rare in his community or like his rare in maybe his town or whatever. But like I know so many like Black bisexual men who are like dating, especially if you're in a more like eclectic city like in LA or Chicago or whatever. But like I definitely had a male friend, a very attractive like Black male friend in Chicago who was bisexual, and he was getting girls and boys. Like he was just like rocking his openness. Like, and I think we've also had so many figures in our lives that kind of have been towing that line that we never thought, like a Prince or somebody. Prince, So I think when you just go into it not being scared and you just own everything, because I think if I'll say this. That's what I'm always like. Okay, one time I met this trans man at a party. Okay, so this person was assigned female at birth. They were transitioning to be a man. I met this trans man at the party. We were definitely vibing. Like I was attracted to this person. We started kissing at the party. We exchanged numbers. This is a Black person also. So like I went home later and I was like, oh, I'm gonna hit this person up after the thing. And then they were like, well, just so you know, like I'm going through a lot with my transition right now. And like, I was like, yeah, that's cool. Like, just let me know like how to respect your boundaries and stuff like that. And then they were like, well, can we like hop on a call so I can just like review all my rules? Like, I just want to make sure like you're still going to be attracted to me and all this. And it was just so much like, I ended up not pursuing anything further with this person because I feel like they were just so in their head about like, I want to remind you that I'm this, I'm that. And I'm like, yeah, I know you're a trans man. You told me that. Like, I'm attracted to you. I'm down to like respect any of your boundaries or whatever. And it almost felt like they were afraid of this connection. They were afraid that this connection might happen or something.
Because of past trauma.
Like it feels like they were already counting themselves out. Yeah. And I was like, whatever I need to be taught to make you feel more comfortable, like I'm down. Like and I'll be honest, like I've never dated a trans person before. Like I shared that with him. I was like, I've never dated a trans man before, but like, I'm attracted to you. Like we was vibing at the party. We was grinding. Like what's the issue? And I just feel like I think we've all probably dated somebody that was just so in their head about all the rules and all the things that you're like, all right, fuck it. Like I'm gone. Like you're begging me to go at this point. It's too hard to plan a first date. And I'm not going to assume that that's what this caller is doing, but I'm sure if I went on a date with a Black guy who was bisexual, which I'm sure I've been on, but a Black guy who's bisexual, and he was doing all of that, like, well, just so you know, I've mostly dated men, but I am interested in women. Like, and if it wasn't like, it's like I'm on the date with you, I'm interested. Like, I don't know. I just say like bring that confidence and bring that fullness to yourself. Does that make sense, baby?
No, not really.
Like just
no, I get it, but I don't know if that's good. Like I get you're saying from your personal experience. I don't know how he could use that as advice. If I'm being totally honest. No. It's like step 1, find your community and find your people. Step 2, don't be ashamed that you're bisexual. Just like there's so many people that are perfectly comfortable dating someone who's bisexual. You see what I'm saying? I see what you're saying. I think the first step that a good advice for this person would be number 1, like find a queer community.
Yes.
And I think not finding like because it sounds like this person might be going on dates with like individual women that they met through a matrix that is not queer friendly.
Right.
So I think like joining a queer running group, joining some sort of queer organization where you might meet other like
less judgmental people,
less judgmental
more open people,
more open people, and just build that community. And to be fair, a lot of the queer quote communities, like most communities that are not like, you could find a queer Black community, but maybe you join a queer community that is, it might feel mostly white, but you're looking for a Black woman, but you're still meeting queer people. And I'm sure those queer people also know other people, right? So it's developing a matrix first. And it sounds like he's going out on individual dates with women that he might meet at church or through work or whatever.
Right.
And then he brings up, oh, I'm
BT
bisexual.
dubs.
And then they ghost him. So that, I don't think you should be pursuing individuals. Pursue the community.
Yeah.
Learn the community first. And then that community, find individuals you might vibe with.
Because then you're saying my suggestion would be irrelevant at that point.
Right.
But it is also okay in the case of me and this other person. It's also okay to go to a party, vibe with someone, and own your shit after the party. Like, because it's not shit. It's who you are.
Also, I don't know. Does he need to come out as like bi up front? I think that's something he was sort of asking, right?
See, that's like a long-standing like debate. I feel like. I don't know. It's just individual person's comfort level.
I mean, it sounds like he does want to do that because he doesn't want to like surprise these people.
I think it's good to like if I'm going on any first date, I tend to lean towards like telling a person about like who I am and what I'm most comfortable with or all of those things, because like your bisexuality is a part of who you are in that way.
Where I think like an app like Field does lend itself to being more explicit. Like you can be very explicit. Right. So finding like the specific.
Yeah, like I don't want to feel like I'm hiding from my partner. Like if I had like an invisible disability or something, I might share that on the first date. Like, I just want you to be aware of the full scope of who I am and hear all of the things that that encompass who I am.
That's a huge, I think we're getting into like a big, longer conversation.
Yeah.
Which
but there's a lot of people like, for my safety, I don't think I should have to like disclose, and like, that's cool too. But I just like, I don't know. I think like your advice is king right now. Like finding the communities that will be accepted.
Find like a queer Black community. Yeah.
But I want to just reaffirm this person. Like there are people out there. There are Black women out there that will date Black queer men. I know that's like, 100%. If you open the internet, like you're going to see a lot of discourse about people are like being disrespectful and whatever. But like, I'm getting to the point where I'm stopping the reading of comment sections. I'm like, these people could. Like,
we don't need it.
Like, I don't need, like, I know.
We have novels. Read a novel.
I know Black women who would date bisexual Black men. I'm a Black woman who's dated bisexual Black men or been attracted to. I tried to pursue and they wasn't fucking with me. Like, not all Black men, of course, but like, something.
Yeah,
I married a guy who don't mind a little,
Yeah.
What am I trying to say? Don't mind a little dip of both. Don't mind a little red and white wine. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm into it, like,
or a little beer and wine, or
a little beer and wine. Well, you gave up beer, remember? The call back to the top of the show. You don't drink beer no more. But yeah, you like a little bourbon and a little, reposado. You like a little bit of everything. I like a little bit of everything.
Oh,
I'm
God.
into it. This podcast is making no sense at this point. But
let's move on to the next section of our podcast.
Well, we wish this listener well.
We do live.
You're gonna find somebody. You're gonna find your people. Just keep looking.
Find your people.
Intentionally hunt for those communities.
Yeah, and find your people before you find your individual.
Yep.
Find like the
we
queer
got to
spaces.
set up a dating show. We got to be like, submit your name and picture, and
we'll set you up.
And we'll set you up.
Yeah, I want to keep this person's privacy. Like,
I know. I'm just saying, but like maybe like one day in the future.
It's hard to. Yeah.
That like.
Like, what's her name? What's the...
Kendra G.
Kendra G. Yeah, I like Kendra G.
We're going to do Kendra... I mean, Kendra G does a good job of matching singles and stuff like that, but like the fan base can be so toxic in the comments. People get scared to even participate. But I'll be watching Kendra G.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to yawn. You're not boring me, I swear.
You're not boring me at all. Okay, the last segment of our show is called Shelfie. All right, Ben, what did we read?
All right, so we read a wonderful short story by Charles Yu. The name of the short story, go ahead, is Standard Loneliness Package. You can read it for free. It's on Lightspeed magazine.
Yeah. We put the link in the episode notes.
Yeah, so I chose this story. It's short. It's a short story, and I've been taking the short story writing class. And every week we read these short stories, and I wanted Amber to experience this because some of these stories are so insightful. They're really beautiful, and it gives you a lot to think about. And they're all science fiction or fantasy. And this short story, and very short, is the novum, which is sort of the thing that makes it science fiction or fantastic, like that little weird thing. We call that the novum.
Okay.
In science fiction. The novum is that people are able to live through a situation and not feel their emotions.
Yes.
They actually outsource their emotions to a feeler who is
So if I'm grieving,
yeah,
I can go pay for Ben to feel that grief instead of me.
Because the grief needs to go somewhere. Like it needs to be downloaded somewhere, and it needs to be connected through a human brain. And so it deals with like workplace, almost like Severance, the TV show, where people can pay like $1,000 to avoid going to church, you know,
for like funerals, or just like root canals.
What did you think of the story? What did you think about this idea of like people not wanting to feel like they don't want to feel the sadness or the loneliness?
I think it was so creative and smart because I think this felt a hair to the left or right of our world because there are things that we do to not feel, or we try to.
Our phones, like, right here.
For phones, to drugs, to alcohol, to sex. Like there are ways that we try to cope in order to not feel things. And so like how smart that this author wrote, like, but no, what if you could actually just not feel it? Like you could just pay someone to feel, like you could pay someone to go to hospice for you. You could pay someone to experience this. I thought that was just like, you know how when people are always like, I'm an empath. I'm like, no, this is what it means to be an empath. Like can you download someone else's consciousness and feel it? Like if not, like you can only feel so much.
A good novum as well will also explore the wider world. And so in this case, the rich and powerful are the ones who can exit out of this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because they can afford to, yeah.
They can afford to. And
which is kind of true to life as well.
We see that as well. So this technology, which is an insane technology, right? Like why aren't we using this kinds of AI, this technology to solve cancer or to deal with like brain, like our brain dies. So when our brain dies, is there a way we can kickstart it? Like, why aren't we using all this money? Instead, we're using this money so that people don't have to feel what it's like. There is one really disturbing element is that they quantify prices. So it's like 1,000 here, 500 here.
Yeah. Oh, you want to pull up some of those?
Yeah, you can pull up some of them. One of them is like a child's recital. Church is one. The death of an uncle is like 600, but the death of an auntie is 700.
I was like, that tracks.
And so there's humor written throughout this whole thing, but there are certain moments where someone might pay to not feel guilt for murdering someone else. So that becomes a plot point.
Right.
But there are one thing that it's privately negotiable. So if you don't want to feel the pain of losing a child.
Yeah.
And the people who have to feel that instead end up going crazy.
Yes. Because
there's no context to the amount of sadness they feel when they're off the site. So like the way it works is if, a parent were to lose a kid, they might be at the funeral, but someone, 1,000 miles away is feeling that. And
right.
There's no context to that. It's just the pure grief and no memories with no happiness as well.
Yeah.
And that's so sick.
It's very sick. It makes me think, this story makes me think about the ways that we don't completely feel someone else's emotions, but the ways that people force their emotions on each other share their last night we had drinks with some friends and they were telling us about like the stand-up comedian that got on stage and just had these horrible jokes about this horrific thing that they experienced and how what you can do is sometimes like, I'm feeling this super shitty thing, like I want everybody to feel
that way, and you forced it on everyone.
And you forced everybody to feel that way, and now they can't remember. It made me think about like what are the ways in our world that people do this, and it's like when a parent makes you feel guilty about something that you shouldn't feel guilty about, or like when they make you feel like, well, especially when I think about parents, it's like, I shouldn't feel guilty about this, but now let me just make my kids feel this guilt or whatever. And it's like, and you're making your kids feel this guilt, and then like you didn't even pay them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just thought a lot about that. Like, what are the ways that people, like going back to this friend that I'm slowly giving the boot, it's like, what are the ways that you have just like hijacked my emotions, and what feels like something small, now I'm kind of like, I'm not going to let you control my emotions anymore. Like if you walk in the room or you walk to the dinner and you put a funk at the dinner table, like I don't want to take on your emotions anymore. Like I don't want to take on any of your insecurities, because for whatever reason you have a tendency to make everybody else in the room feel small because you feel small,
or you feel sad,
or you feel sad. And I'm definitely obviously here to, process emotions with a friend of mine who's going through something. But when it's like
enforced,
if a friend is going through something like unbelievably sad, which of course we've had that happen. Of course we've gone through unbelievably sad things. Like how can we all just like manage this together, versus like when people are like, I'm having a bad day, so I'm just gonna put this on somebody else. Like that transference of emotions. Like what are the ways that like I've done that to you, or I've done that to other people, or how that's happened to me, or whatever.
Non-consensually.
Non-consensually, yes.
Yeah, but in this case, in this story, it is consensual. But the workers who are feeling these emotions are poor people.
Yeah,
They're
but it's
people
like
who need a job.
It's like medical, like you know how like when medical things aren't consensual, it's like, well, I signed the terms of agreement, but I didn't know how to read it. Like, you know what I mean?
No, what are you saying?
Like if you signed a contract for something that you don't thoroughly know how to read, like it's like I kind of gave you my consent, but I kind of didn't, because I didn't realize the gravity of what I would be feeling after this.
Yeah, it's like signing up for a job that you didn't realize.
Yes.
Because
like,
maybe the person who hired you wasn't completely honest.
Right.
With what the job expectations were going to be.
There's some part of this that feels very much. It's like.
But now you're trapped.
It's like
in this
the
job.
Squid Games of emotions or something like that. It's like, oh, are you broke? Like I got a card right here of a way you can make money, and then you get to Squid Games, you're like, oh,
people are dying all around me.
Right. It's like I agreed to do this, but I didn't know I agreed to do this. Yeah. So I think this, like, I remember feeling that in this story of like. People are being like, well, I signed up to just like feel somebody's root canal, feel somebody's guilt here, go to somebody's funeral. I didn't sign up to carry the weight of a murderer who just killed a child. Like, I don't know what, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's illegal. That's in this world. In this example, but it's a good story. I think people should read it. I think you should read it with someone and discuss in what ways do you also escape emotion, and in what ways that's unhealthy. Because this reading this made me realize that no, all emotions, the good and the bad, are part of what it means to be human. And
yes.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, because you were. I definitely thought, I was like, would I do this? And I'm like, no, I love all my. I mean, grief is hard, but I
don't love all your emotions.
I need the. I know you don't. I need the full
range
of emotions.
You do. It is. It's important to feel everything. I just don't like being the brunt of your emotions. I don't, You just said it's important to feel everything. Yeah. So you gonna feel that brunt. It was funny. Last night we drank a little bit and we walked in. I think Amber was annoyed because I drank a little bit too much, just a little bit. And she wasn't saying that, so it was all passive aggressive annoyance. Like we walked, she's like, "Why is your shoes there?" And we walked to the stairs. She's like, "Why is this here?" And I was like, "Are you okay? You were drunk. I didn't. Are you okay?" I was like, "Are you okay?" You were drunk, so you are this. You even explaining it back is not even what happened. We walked in the house. I walked in the house. I tripped over your shoes, and I said, "Can you please take your shoes downstairs?" No. You said. I was like, you sarcastically asked, "Why are your shoes here?" And which I probably like, "Why are your shoes here?" No, that's a funny. You were like, there was a little toot. You heard it. Attitude. You heard it. How you heard it because you was 5 drinks in. I was like, "Why are your shoes here?" And then I went to get. I drank 4. 4. Okay. Over a span of like 2.5 hours, 3 hours.
Okay, Ben, but you have to admit that you probably heard it in the most fierce way, when in reality, I was like, why are your shoes in my way? And you took me downstairs and I started eating a bowl of soup. You're like, that's what you do when you get drunk and annoyed. I'm like, you need a tissue, girl? Because I like just take the shoes downstairs. Like, that's all I'm asking. Because you know I've been getting onto you about them shoes.
Yeah. I got to get onto you about your backpack. Amber puts her backpack everywhere.
That's fair.
She never hangs it up.
That's fair.
Never. She never hangs it up.
Notice how I'm taking the criticism and you're like.
Yeah. No, yeah. I also, I got to figure out the shoe thing. But anyway.
Enough about
another episode.
Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Fly on the Wilde podcast. That was a time, right? Feel free to tune in to next week's episode. We love y'all. Bye.
Bye.
You know they're from TikTok, cause those laughs keep you coming, cause they're wildin' all the time. Before Wilde throws a tantrum, listen to our silly anthem, cause they're wildin' all the time. Don't swat while Amber squats and does a